Hello and welcome to the Carnivore Cast YouTube channel. I'm Scott Myslinski. I'm the host of the Carnivore Cast, a podcast by carnivores for carnivores, where I interview experts, doctors, researchers, and also N=1 case studies, folks who have resolved a variety of chronic health conditions using the carnivore diet, everything from major depression to diabetes to amenorrhea for women, PCOS, a variety of issues. And this is going to be my best tips for getting started on carnivore for World Carnivore Month 2021. You know, a lot of folks here are experienced carnivores, so maybe you can share this with friends or family. Or if you're just diving into the carnivore diet for the first time, dipping your toes, want to give it a try for January, here are some helpful tips that I think are essential for anyone beginning this diet. So first of all, my number one tip would be eat as much meat as you want. Eat when you're hungry, eat until you're full. Don't try to limit yourself. Don't try to restrict yourself to certain eating windows or limit your portions or say, I'm only going to eat leaner meats. Eat the meat you want until you're full, whether that's bacon and eggs or fatty steaks. Make sure it's enjoyable for you because adherence is key. A lot of people want to dive into a new diet and their motivation is super high. And so they want to make it hard. They want to go full bore. They want to make it as difficult as possible. It's like getting into the gym and saying, I'm going to exercise 7 days a week. But it's much better for long-term building a lifestyle and habits and adherence and consistency to start with something that's easy for you to stick to. Make it so easy that it feels like it's not enough. It feels like a joke. Just start with really, really low goals. I think is super essential. And for all the people I've talked to and worked with and helped and interviewed, this is definitely the most important factor for getting started on the carnivore diet. Number two is make sure that you are getting enough salt and enough fat. So it's very easy when you're switching from a carbohydrate-based diet or even a ketogenic diet for you to underdo the salt or underdo the amount of fat you're getting. And if you're underdoing fat, you'll be lethargic. You won't have enough energy. On a carnivore diet, we're really limiting our carbs or having zero carbs. So we're getting all our energy from fat. So we really need to make sure that fat is prioritized as a fuel source. And, you know, months into the diet, when you're adapted and you feel good and you feel used to the diet, you can try moving down your fat amount or experimenting with lower fat on some days. But when you get started, you really want to make sure you're eating fatty beef, cooking your food in a bit of butter or tallow, which is beef fat. And you want to make sure you're enjoying the diet a lot because that's where you're going to get your energy from. And that's more important, especially at the start, than trying to limit your calories or limit your fat. You're already going to be getting enough protein because you're eating all animal food. So it's very easy to hit at least a gram per pound of protein, but you need to worry about fat. So that's number two is make sure you get enough fat and also enough salt. Salt is an essential electrolyte. When we remove carbohydrates from our diet, our body flushes out a lot of water because the carbs help us store water in the form of glycogen. And with that water comes out our electrolytes. And you need salt. Salt has been very controversial. A lot of people say you need to limit your salt for your blood pressure and other issues. Salt is essential. It helps hydrate us. It helps keep our mental energy high. It helps us relax. It helps us sleep. It helps us perform physically. It's so important. And if you don't have enough salt, if you're not overdoing the salt at first, you're probably going to get headaches. You're going to be lethargic. You're going to get extra hungry. You're not going to feel good. And you're going to be more likely to revert back. So number two, get enough fat and get enough salt. And then number three is find a community. Find people you can bond with, whether it's a friend, a neighbor, a coworker, or just an online Facebook group, a podcast. Make sure you're immersing yourself so you don't feel like an outcast. This diet is weird. The people who do this diet are the minority. We are the exception to the rule. The majority of people are eating whatever's put in front of them and not even thinking about it. So find people who you can relate to, who you can speak with, who you can ask questions, who you can troubleshoot, and who can help you overcome those challenges that'll come in the first part of the diet. Don't copy everything everyone else is doing, but get advice, get support. Community is so essential. So that's number 3, community. So just to recap, number 1, eat as much meat as you want, eat the meat you enjoy, and stop when you're full. But don't restrict yourself to a certain number of meals or certain eating window or have rigid rules. You really want to enjoy and get into the carnivore diet. Number 2 is make sure you're getting enough fat and enough salt to keep your body healthy and keep your energy high. And then number 3 is find a community to support you. There are a lot of other great tips for getting started on a carnivore diet, and you can find those on my podcast. The podcast is the Carnivore Cast. You can find it on YouTube here on this channel or your favorite podcast player. But those are what I think are the most important things to get started on a carnivore diet for World Carnivore Month 2021. And I hope you subscribe, give it a like if you enjoyed this video, and stick around for more content to come over the course of World Carnivore Month and beyond. I'm going to be doing all kinds of getting started as well as cooking tips, days of eating, and other great videos. So hope you stick around and leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks again, and have a great one. Keep it carnivore.